So what's going on, my good people? So I want to do this video right now because if I don't do it now, I'm probably not going to do it at all. And if I don't do it now before Saturday, then it really makes no sense. Okay, so I want to talk about AEW's debut on Max. Now, I was interested to see if they were going to change anything, which I don't feel like they needed to change the logo or anything. I love the logo that they have now. They brought the, screen back, the electronic screen back, on the barricaded wall. I like that touch to it. And anyway, it was a solid show. And so let me go through it. I had to take my notes down real quick, just as far as the matches, because I remember what happened. Now, Hangman, Adam Page, and Orange Cassidy, they had the first match. And it was a back and forth match. Now, Orange Cassidy, as always, he comes out with the little, he always does something that's like funny, sarcastic, and annoying at the same time. Like, a couple of times when Hangman Adam Page went to go for his signature move, he goes out the ring, he's ready to, do the flip over to do the clothesline, and then Orange Cassidy rolled out the ring. He did that shit twice. And it's like, it was just funny, because it's like, yeah, that's Orange, right? He's doing what he's doing. I think it was an entertaining match, and Hangman ended up getting the win because he finally hit that shit, and he got Cassidy out of there. Orange Cassidy is over with the fans. Now it's funny because Hangman is a heel, but he's over with the fans as well. And now personally, when I looked at that, I said, I think Hangman needs this win more. If Orange Cassidy was the one in the driver's seat to be pushed for like another title, then it would be different in that sense. But I feel like it looks like that's the direction that they want to go with Hangman. Now, whether it's the world title or, TNT championship or whatever it's going to be, however, or just basically let's keep his winning streak alive until, because, Hangman, his character change and everything, it had a different impact, It had a different impact because when he first turned, he was getting booed a lot, but now it's like they're cheering for Hangman, with the heel persona. Now, good match. Hangman got that win. I don't know what's next for Hangman. I don't think he and Orange Cassidy has a feud going on. I think this match happened and then it's just on to the next one. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a feud. Okay, and they had the other week where it was Jay White, Hangman, Orange Cassidy, and John Moxley, which pretty much they blew it because they couldn't get along. Instead of them trying to take Moxley out first, like really just batter him and then let it narrow down to one of them, because actually, if you guys remember in that match, Orange Cassidy actually had Moxley pinned. He had him, and then Hangman pulls him off, because even when he pulled him, Moxley didn't even try to kick out. It's like, so that was that, okay, you cost me the title. So it could, but I don't know if it's going to be a feud between the two of them or not. But it was a good match, entertaining match, and Hangman got the win. Now, the Acclaimed, if you've been watching, you know that Max Caster looked like he's turning heel, man. He's turning heel. He pretty much has been acting like a goofball and, trying to play dumb, like, him and Anthony, and Bowens are they're obviously not getting along. And Bowens doesn't trust him. Now, when he hit Bowens with the title, was it a mistake? I don't know. Could have been. But he's being a real, jackass right now. So you can see the heel turn coming. And even in that match where, he called him out before and asked him, did you hit me on purpose or was it an accident? And he's, annoyed with him. And you don't see, I'm not calling that man daddy ass, but, Billy Gunn. You don't see Billy Gunn as a part of that group. So you can see the end of that coming in, like they're going to become solo stars now. And pretty much, I don't think people were ready for the Acclaim to break up, to be honest with you, but this may be a better situation. I know as singles wrestlers, depending on how you used, you get more attention to yourself. I mean, they definitely was over with the crowd, man. I mean, but that's coming to an end. Now, the match itself, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin pretty much was dominating. Now, Anthony Bowens was holding his own when he was in the ring, and Caster pretty much got demolished. I mean, you know, he tagged himself in while Bowens was on a roll. You know, he was getting some good offense off against Shelton Benjamin at the time, and he tagged himself in, pretty much got demolished. You know, Bowens gets off the apron, and he's like disgusted with him. He's just standing from the floor watching. At first, it like he was about to walk to the back, but then now that makes him look like the heel, you know. But he just stood there and watched, but he was like clearly disgusted with the Max Caster. So they pretty much, Bobby Lashley and Benjamin Shelton just tore him apart. They got the win, and there's no feud with anybody right now for the Hurt Syndicate. They're making their statements, just winning matches, fighting. You know, Shelton's been wrestling every week. You know, he won some, he lost some. Now, Shelton Benjamin has had strong matches, unlike his, you know, WWE run, where pretty much, if you guys remember, when the Hurt business broke up, you know, I forget the other guy's name that was with them, but Bobby Lashley pretty much made them look like suckers, man. Like he punked them, bossed them around. I think he actually fought both of them by himself and made them look like garbage, man. It did. Remember that? You know, which DC movie was that? Where Superman pretty much had Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, all of them at a standstill. They had one by the throat like he's playing with them. The Flash is running top speed, but Superman is like, you can see he's watching him. He can see everything he's doing, made him trip up and like made him look like fools. That's how they had Bobby Lashley make the Hurt business look. And then without Bobby Lashley, pretty much they were just jobbers, man. Like that's what they were. Now Shelton Benjamin has had nothing but solid matches since he's been in AEW. He's being treated the way he's supposed to. Now that does not mean every match he's in, he just has to win. Especially, and understand, he's in the Continental Classic. Matches, no matter who you want to win. If you want Shelton Benjamin to win and he lose, and you go, I want him to win, okay, fine. Well, the same way whoever his opponents are, their fans want to see that person win. He had strong showings in every match. There's no match he had where he got blown apart. Like he's held his own and he looked like a solid competitor in every single match. Now, in terms of them recruiting another member, I don't want to know who it's going to be to be honest with you. I'd rather be surprised about it. And you know, we thought about it for a little while. We talked about it, but like me, I'd rather just be surprised. I don't want to go through all of the, you know, who I think is going to be situation, and because this is one of these things, man, where I feel like we have just too much access to things in wrestling, and this is why I like when they throw you a curveball and they get you. But if it comes off good with however they do it, whoever it is, whenever it is, there's no rush. That's the thing. It's no rush. And a lot of people was thinking it was going to be Ricochet. Now we know it's not Ricochet. He actually gave Max Caster a card in the back at one point, if you guys remember, you know, MVP. And, you know, people are thinking like it's going to be Powerhouse Hobbs. I don't know. We'll see. But however it's going to go, the Hurt Syndicate is just beating people down. That day they brutalized Max Caster. They got the win. And as far as Bobby Lashley goes, you know, I don't know what's next, man. Like, you know, one thing about professional wrestling, like a lot of feuds, sometimes they just go on like way too long. Swerve Strickland versus Bobby Lashley is a match that I know that people want to see revisited. They want to see that match revisited. But as for now, I don't know what's next for the Hurt Syndicate. You know, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna stay. Like, you know, are they gonna go for tag team goal, or like what's gonna happen? Like what? You know, does any one of them want to go after the TNT Championship? We don't know. And so there's a lot of work, a lot of things, a lot of angles that can be done. A lot of, you know, and I just feel like it's all enjoyable. Of course, when things are done right, it's something that's really fun to watch and be a part of. So, Hurt Syndicate brutalized these guys. Now, what happened after that? Okay, you had Jamie Hayter against the returning Julia Hart. And it was funny because this match, to me, I like when I don't really know who's going to win. Like when I really can't just say, I think this person got it up. Yeah. Now, because Julia Hart has been gone for so long, now she attacked Jamie Hayter. And we knew the match was going to happen. Now, it took place last night. And, you know, it was a back and forth match. And my partner said, man, I forgot who won the match. I was the cheeks, man. Both of them were just jiggling all. I'm like, yeah, man, Julia Hart got the win. So, yeah, it was a good match, man. It was, you know, going back and forth. I remember the one move where they were outside the ring, man, and Julia Hart slammed Jamie Hayter back into those top of those damn steel steps. Like you could hear the smack, like the it was a couple of tough spots, like her getting knocked, like she made her fall off the top rope and she fell, like landed really hard. It was a couple of tough spots in that match. Julia Hart, of course, spit the mist in her face and got the win with the cheat, of course. And Aubrey didn't see it because she brought that arrow into the ring. And she held it up, and Aubrey went forward and took it and was going to, you know, took her eyes off the action instead of throwing it out the ring, right? She turns around like the referees always do, basically. And then, you know, when Jamie Hayter went to put her in this move, she spit the mist in her face and got the pin. I always say this, though. When someone use any type of mist to spit in someone's face, they should always follow that up with a move. You know, we get it. The person's blinded, they can't see. So, whatever, we get it. But they should always follow it up with a move. And, you know, it's just more impactful. But she got the win. And she goes on. I do not think that this match, that this is over with. I believe they're going to fight again. Okay, Mercedes Moné comes out. And she does this video and pretty much show, you know, her rise in AEW from the beginning up to now. And, you know, she's bragging about being the greatest TBS champion ever. Right? And she's, you know, did this little video and bragging and doing what Mercedes Moné does. So, pretty much, you know, what was funny to me is I was watching, you know, all these women that she beat, the Stephanie Van Kers and all of them. I watched this and I'm looking and I said, you know, it was funny, man, because Mercedes Moné, if you watch her now and look at things she was doing earlier, it's just like she's a person that's been consistent. And the one thing that I noticed, and this is what I love about AEW, is that when you put a focus on someone, the naysayers are going to be the naysayers. You can't worry about that. There's always going to be people just blah, blah, blah for nothing. I remember in her WWE run, I would watch Sasha Banks. She was like one of the main reasons I even watched the WWE at the time. And I remember like one day I'd see her come out on Raw and Mercedes would get the biggest pops, man. She was getting the John Cena type pops, okay? She was getting those really loud type pops like when she would come out. And she's standing there with the belt. The next time I watch Raw, she doesn't have the belt anymore. And then I'm noticing, like, every time I touch, like, damn, this Charlotte Flair just keep winning matches. Look like, you know, and then I come to find out Charlotte, 14, 15-time champion. And it's like Mercedes could not hold a belt. And I said, you know what's going to happen with her? If she ends up holding a belt, she's going to have to be a heel. It's just something about professional wrestling now where heels hold the belts forever. And the face go through all of this. It's like, this is where I feel like all professional wrestling promotions make a big mistake with. The heel will hold the belt for so long. The anticipation, the fans are watering at the mouth. They want this person to finally lose. The face comes in, finally get the win, save the day, and they hold the belt a month and a half, and it's gone. It's like, you know, and they just would always strip her of the titles. So when she became heel, that's the longest she's ever held the title. But the thing about that was Mercedes was always a fighter. Like she always, no matter what, she just wrestled, and she always wrestled hard, man. And she's not that big. She's, you know, on the slim side, petite. She's curvy, but, you know, she's not a big woman. And she would go in there, and she was pretty much like always the smaller opponent, but she always went in there and wrestled. And I'm like, why do they just keep like stripping her, man? Why? She really is a solid performer in that ring. So when I thought about like when her and Naomi was teaming up, and you know what happened with them in that situation, and they left. Now Naomi went back, and Mercedes went forward. And Mercedes, she's in control of what she's doing. And I said, look at what Mercedes Moné has going on right now, and look at what they're doing with Naomi. So Naomi is a part of a storyline where she's probably going to be just as guilty as Bianca. It's probably going to be both of them that did what they did to Jade Cargill. But regardless of what I'm saying, I told you guys before, Naomi will not go back and stand on her own as a star. She'll be paired up with someone, or she'll just be in roles where, they like her because of her like bubbly personality and stuff like that. But at some point, this is what wrestling does. They always got to take someone and make them a heel before it's time. And that's like the only way they're going to hold on to titles. They have to be a heel. But Mercedes comes in, and Mercedes was the heel, and people need to remember this too. She left the WWE as a heel. When she was in Japan and she was traveling around, remember, she got injured by Willow. She was playing a heel then. So she stayed in heel mode. When she came to AEW, it was like, the tears, everything was, she was on the face side of things. And, she went heel. So she stays in heel mode. But she's been winning these matches. Like, that's the one thing about her, is that she doesn't need to cheat to win. And she's getting wins. She's been putting on, I agree with her, like she's been putting like the best matches ever, man, in her career. And this is what wrestlers need. When you travel, you move around, you find where you need to be and what you want to do, as opposed to let me just fall back in line and then just take what they give me type of thing, because you don't stand out on your own. And that's what Mercedes is doing. So, yeah, man. I mean, the funny thing is, Mercedes is someone people will boo her, and they'll talk all of this shit, and during the match, they're cheering, "This is awesome," right? They're cheering her name and the opponent's name. And that's when people know what she's capable of, but it's like, we know she chose AEW over her. Let's just hate. And I'm not talking about the AEW audience. One thing about them, and this is what I saw this, and this is why I said when Mercedes did that interview, and she made, when they were asking her about WWE, and she was, oh yeah, I definitely want to go back there one day. It's like, wrong answer. And that's one of the things I feel like AEW fans that do look at her in a certain way is because they expect, yeah, you're here now, you're going to come and rebuild yourself, and then when your contract's up, you're going to run back to the WWE. That's where I feel like the AEW audience is looking at her like, why should we really get behind you? I think they're behind her. But what I'm saying is, like, instead of cheering for her, it's like, yeah, okay, Mercedes, we really love you. We want to see you stay here. But you out of your own mouth said you want to go back there. So why the fuck should we care about what you're doing here? And this is where I feel like the AEW fans that have a problem with her, that's where it stemmed from. And I can understand that, because for anybody to, like, I know, it's like, I feel like this. In life, when you go for something, right? Now, people will say, oh, they gave me a chance, but you still put the work in. There's no, oh, I have to go back. No, you don't have to do shit. You have a choice to make. And if you choose to go back, then you choose to. But I think that with Mercedes, being the person she is, and then when contracts renew and all of that, oh, man, listen. It was funny to me how Dutch Mantel and all these other people was running their mouths talking about, oh, why, the reason why WWE didn't want her back and she overpriced herself. And then she told the true story. You didn't hear not one person from the WWE deny that shit. And this is what I mean about how people see things a certain way, and then they'll try to tell you this is the story as if they know. They don't know. They really don't know. just to give you a little, something to think about. The match that Thunder Rosa had with Mariah May the other week, right? If you guys remember, at the pay-per-view, right, at World's End, Thunder Rosa's father was ringside. Now, Mariah May comes out over, she take the cane from him and she's disrespecting him and all this, right? She beat Thunder Rosa. Bully Ray, what's the other guy? Vince Russo. Their comments was so, it was almost, you can just say, cliche. They're so robotic, man. Oh, man, I feel like it would have been better if, she would have went over there, took the cane from Thunder Rosa's father, and then threatened to hit him, and then she says she quits so he doesn't hit the father. You know why they said that? Because that's exactly what the WWE would have done. The same shit that's been done a million times. One, she's not going to hit her father. And we all know that. Okay? This is where when something happens different, like people complain, oh man, I'm sick of wrestlers cheating to win or getting roll-up pins, or why can't they just win clean? Okay, but then when someone wins clean, it's a complaint. Thunder Rosa never lost her title, and she brings that up all the time. Okay, you just lost a title defense now. No different from, Chris Statlander losing her title defense, her rematch with Mercedes, but both fights she pushed Mercedes to the limit. And they had great matches together. Okay, it's not Thunder Rosa's time. And instead of people just understanding that, it's always, everybody has the answers for what should have been done and how. But it's always whatever the WWE would have done, that's what every other company should do. Follow their blueprint. And this is the BS that I'm talking about as to why wrestling can't flourish more than it had already has. Because it's always let's try to, tell everybody this is how a match is supposed to go. This is what's supposed to happen. This is what you're supposed to... No. That's the way one company run this show. They do things in ways where it's so predictable and it's like everybody's done this. No, they didn't need to do that. Just like AJ Styles picking up the metal steps like he was going to hit Cody Rhodes, like he's going to hit AJ in their I Quit match. And AJ, I quit. Was he really going to hit him with those steps? Maybe. But was he going to hit him no. Because AJ was not in the predicament to defend himself. And he could have really hurt AJ. So no, he wasn't. No different. When Darby Allin came out with the torch, was he really going to burn these? No, he wasn't going to really burn them. That's the match. Haven't we seen Sting get set on fire against Vampiro? Haven't we seen The Fiend Bray Wyatt get set on fire? So all of these things, we see, Mick Foley get thrown from the top of a cage through a table with his freaking tooth stuck up in his nose. I mean, the things that people say is just like, okay. Adam Copeland, who was he in the I Quit match with in the WWE? And they threatened to do something to Beth Phoenix. I think it was the Judgment Day, right? I quit. So they wouldn't hurt Beth. This is exactly my point. Whatever the WWE would do, this is what these people say. And it's like, yeah, I know, bully. You talk all of this stuff because you're working with the WWE once again, but you always find these guys, Eric Bischoff, that 83-week shit went from being about the things, the life and times of WCW, NWO, whatever, to every week AEW. That's what they do. But yeah, so this is what I'm saying about how people just can't see a story for what it is, let the story play out. And yeah, we all have our opinions about certain things and how it, I'm not here to try to rewrite the scripts of what these people are doing, but like I said, even like with, the Miss being spit in the face, yeah, a move should be followed up after that to, seal the deal. Okay, she was blinded, then, she hit the finish on her, simple. Jamie Hayter and Julia Hart's match. But yeah, so Mercedes comes out, she does what she does, man. I like watching Mercedes Moné, and she knows what she's doing. People can talk all of this. Somehow when you leave the WWE, you just don't know how to wrestle anymore and forget everything, but we know that that's nonsense. Okay, now, Jay White, Swerve Strickland, and Roderick Strong. So Roderick Strong, he had a little promo on the back with, him and still a little guy, Adam Cole, and their third guy. So they're saying that now their group is complete. So that pretty much means no more Wardlow, because Wardlow was a part of that. Now, is he still in AEW and they're waiting for the right time to put him in, or is he? I don't know, but it's obvious he's not a part of that group anymore. And Roderick Strong made they talked about winning tag team or trios, and he says, well, whatever this singles championship that they're going after, this tournament or whatever, after I win, it's every man for themselves, okay, whatever. But basically he went out, they had their match, they did some things, Jay White, all of them, they had their moments where they all shined. Swerve did his thing. And they did what they did, hard-hitting match, but Ricochet comes out the crowd, has this big-ass pair of gold scissors, and he splits Swerve open. Now, what's so funny about this is all of these robotic channels. This is why I tell you guys, I do what I do because I want you guys to pay attention to what's really happening. Oh, they buried Ricochet. Ricochet can't come back from this. Blah, 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 blah. Ricochet went from getting grabbed by the collar, dressing like a nerd, right? Grabbed by the collar by Bobby Lashley. Backed off. Okay, it's three of you and just me. I'm out of here. He goes to the back. At the pay-per-view, Swerve pretty much clowns him because he didn't win the Continental Classic. And they Prince Nana comes down with a wheelbarrow full of toilet paper, and he's handing it out to the fans, and the fans, all on the count of three, Happy New Year, they all throw the toilet paper, at Ricochet, which is pretty funny to me. Now, if you remember, the week before when they were at the Hammerstein Ballroom, somebody was threw toilet paper at Ricochet. And that's probably where that idea even came from. Like, oh shit, you know what? We should do this at the next, So that's what happened. Now, Ricochet went through all of that, standing in the ring, getting toilet paper thrown at him and all that stuff, to splitting open Swerve Strickland, left him in a pool of his own blood, went in there and beat him senseless and had his blood all over him. Doesn't look too weak now, does he? This is wrestling. If that's the case, R-Truth is a joke. Eric Young is a joke. Dominic Mysterio is a super joke. All of these people that you see at some point play the role where they're getting punked, they're getting, Shelton Benjamin and the guy that was with him in the Hurt, they were punks then. Because like I said, Bobby Lashley fought both of them by himself, smacked them both around, beat both of them, and was bossing them around and talked to them like they were trash. But people don't remember this, right? So now Ricochet, just like that, oh shit, look what he did to Swerve. This is professional wrestling, y'all. One act of something doesn't end a person's career. Now, if something's ended, it's because of the company that's doing something repeatedly to a person. Think about this. Ricochet's happy where he is. It's the WWE fans that want to see the WWE guys that come to AEW come and dominate. And when they don't do that, oh, they're not treating them right. Bullshit. And so we know this feud isn't over. They haven't even started yet. So Ricochet finally got the upper hand on Swerve, and pretty much. Now, I don't know if what happened on Dynamite is going to carry over to Collision, because there's no more Rampage. So usually we'd have Rampage tomorrow night, then Collision. So we don't know. We'll have to see. I'm definitely going to tune in and watch to see where that goes and what happens from there, because truthfully, I'm into this feud. Yeah, I'm into this. Swerve Strickland and Ricochet, and see where it goes. So right now, Ricochet got the upper hand on Swerve. Got the last laugh, put it like that, in this situation. So we'll see what happens from there. Good segment. Jeff Jarrett is backstage with Satnam Singh and Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and he's talking about it's time, pretty much like, they want to make sure he's making the right decision. And then Karen Jarrett comes into the picture and tell him that she just needed a moment. and whatever he wants, she wants. You know, they're unbreakable, and she gives him a hug. And then you see, I think she gives him the red boots, and he has them strapped on his shoulders. So we know what that means. So he comes out to the ring. He starts talking about how his grandmother took a second job selling wrestling tickets, and how she became like the boss and all, and and she, all that right there changed everything for the Jarrett family in terms of wrestling. And yeah, so that's where it all started. And Jeff Jarrett, the one thing about him is it's not so much about being a good talker. It's like Jeff Jarrett stories sound genuine. Like, they hit home because they sound genuine. Like, I'm not speaking to try to make you go, oh man, that was like, that guy is, of course you want it to be a good segment, but it's like, I'm not trying to impress you with my words. I'm trying to really explain to you, like, this is what happened. The man you see in front of you now, this started way back when, and this is what happened. He talked about being a 12-time champion, and I'm so glad that, Tony Khan doesn't, I really appreciate that. He doesn't have these guys act like the only company they've achieved anything at is at his company. These guys have been wrestling all over the world, different promotions, have accomplished a lot of things, and they don't get the props and credit that they deserve. In fact, this type of video, I love this video, because what happened with this segment is, even like he talked about his ups and downs and how he lost his own company. He's talking about TNA, and people don't understand that. Jeff Jarrett founded that company. He started this company, TNA, and he's talked about how I lost my own company. He said, and let me say one thing about that company. He said they have produced some of the greatest wrestlers in the world. And, the crowd, they was behind him. They cheered that. And this is what I'm saying. And, people seem to forget that far before the WWE did it, AEW and TNA had a working relationship, and they were back and forth. Tony Khan even went to the show and was sitting there in ringside. Now, what people fail to realize about all of this is really simple. In business, a lot of people do things, and another company can come along and do the same thing, but people act like it's something new. And you see the difference is, Kenny Omega was involved. I remember him fighting Moose, and it was, this was all a part of the Forbidden Door concept. And it's funny because if WWE had did it first, then everybody would be saying, hey, AEW copied. No, WWE definitely copied. Work with the same exact promotion, but they didn't have them coming out on AEW Dark. Okay, they were fighting against, the top versus the top. And Christian Cage, remember when him and Adam Copeland was interviewing AJ, and they were laughing and making fun of TNA, and that place, this and that. And yeah, remember that Booker T talked about how they paid him for doing absolutely nothing, and he had the belt and they didn't do anything with it. All these things. And isn't it funny how little crappy piece of shit company TNA, right? All the things that all these people said about it, they end up having a little partnership with the WWE, and all of a sudden, I'm loving this TNXT, and okay, right. Now all of a sudden, the same little crappy company, just because they shared the ring with NXT wrestlers, and NXT, some of them have went over there and wrestled, in Impact for a couple of shows. Now all of a sudden, you guys love TNA. It's one of those things. And this is a company that without Jeff Jarrett, there would have been no TNA. And what I love about this too is because, see, Jeff Jarrett, like he said, does the last outlaw just run off to the sunset? And he goes, hell no. And he threw the boots down. And yeah, it's like he says he wants one more run. He's not talking about tag or trios. He said he wants the world championship, right? Now, whether he gets it or not, him being remembered properly, him being in a position of even getting that airtime and being able to tell his story, I respect this so much more. And if he win or lose, then eventually he's not gonna, even if he did win, he wouldn't hold it forever, but win or lose, however it goes, I believe that his in-ring career, when it comes to an end, he'll probably be behind the scenes with Tony Khan. I think Jeff Jarrett has a very good mind for this business as well, and you know, we'll see how things go, but definitely there's a healthy respect there. And this is much more respectable than watching Jeff Jarrett sit up and eat dinner and talk about old fucking matches when he still has something to offer to the business. Adam Copeland could have took that same bullshit deal. Let's sit and have dinner and talk. Well, let's sit and chop it up with the Undertaker. Remember that time I threw you into the fire? And yeah, remember that time you hit me with the fire extinguisher and whatever. Like, and these guys still have something to offer. And so this, you know, one thing AEW knows how to give proper send-offs to the legends, for sure. For sure. And that's something that, you know, this whole, we just let you come out, get smacked around, and give you a Legends deal. And I'm telling you, you know, if WWE knew that Adam Copeland, like if he told them, yeah, I'm definitely going to go to AEW after, he wouldn't have won against Sheamus. Sheamus would have won that match. They was expecting Adam Copeland to just take that deal, didn't see him going anywhere else. You know, and at some point, if Beth Phoenix shows up and ends up doing something with AEW, with Adam Copeland or whatever, cool, man. I mean, you know, they always like Beth Phoenix as a performer too, as a wrestler in that ring. She's another, you know, good performer. And this is what I'm saying. It's like Tony Khan wants to see you go off into the sunset properly, whereas the WWE is more like, let me just, okay, who you want to go out against, and then we'll, you know, let you have 2 minutes to talk, and then, okay, let's just, like I said, put you on a sit down and have dinner and talk about old matches, and all right, okay, and then you'll fade away little by little until you completely gone. Remember, Vince McMahon is that guy that said, he told all his wrestlers, I'm going to use you till you have nothing left. Right. Real swell human being, right? But yeah, Jeff Jarrett gets to tell his story, and he gets to end his career the way he wants to. And I've just, like, you know, he's a guy that won championships all over this country, out the country, and, you know, all over the world. And Jeff Jarrett he's done a lot for this business. And it's good to see that somebody cares to let things happen the way it's supposed to. So we'll see what happens with Jeff Jarrett, and it was a good segment. And like I said, it wasn't about let me try to just say a bunch of words it just felt genuine. So props to Jeff Jarrett. Now, Powerhouse Hobbs, he came out, he fought against two jobbers, he squashed the hell out of both of them. Now, Powerhouse Hobbs did an interview before World's End with John Moxley's wife. I always forget her name. But, you know, he talked about his injury and how it made him feel and how he's more determined now. And, you know, now, the loss to Takeshita at World's End, I'm not going to say it derailed Powerhouse Hobbs, but I will say that that's a match that he probably shouldn't have lost clean. He probably should have won the match by like a disqualification or something. Now, how they do it is up to them. Okay? The reason is because when you've been going for so long, you come back and you build momentum and the crowd is behind you. Those type of losses can be a setback. But just like that, you can be right back in. But for Powerhouse Hobbs, I don't want to see the same thing happen with him that happened with Wardlow, where you're that guy, you have all this momentum behind you, and then things just happen. There was no we've never been in full disclosure about what actually happened. We know that Wardlow told his story about his father, you know, either being sick or something happened with his dad. He passed. I don't remember. But I remember, you know, him having this, conversation, and then he got beat by Joe. And the thing about that was Wardlow was looked at like, you know, I'm not going to say like the Brock Lesnar of AEW, because, you know, Brock is Brock and Wardlow is Wardlow. It's not about trying to copy and trying to be Brock, but like he was that powerhouse. He was that guy. And then all of a sudden it's like, you know, Wardlow just faded. And when he ended up with Adam Cole's group, it didn't do him any justice. So I don't know what Wardlow's status is, but, you know, Powerhouse Hobbs, hopefully that, you know, he rebounds to where Takeshita, this is what I'm saying, Takeshita is really good, man. So it's not like he lost to some guy that he should have went in there and destroyed. Takeshita is really good. So that's why I said I don't know that this absolutely derails him. You never know. You just got to see what happens going forward. But that's a match that I feel like he shouldn't have lost cleanly. And like I said, if anything, he probably should have, like, even if it would have been by disqualification or however they would have done it. But that's I'm into people losing clean, but because of wrestling being the way it is, certain matches you gotta definitely know when to do it and when not to. But I don't think Powerhouse Hobbs, losing to Takeshita is like I said, like it's he lost to this guy. Takeshita is the real deal. But we'll see what happens from here and see what Powerhouse Hobbs, like what matches he's into, how he's booked. Hopefully it works out for the better. And he squashed these two jobbers and did what he had to do. But he was supposed to do that. So this is why when you get back in there with someone that's really on the same level as you, that's the real tell sign. What do you have right now? And I don't know. Sometimes a person get injured and they kind of re-injure themselves or feel it, and maybe they slow them down. Just book him right, that's all. Don't put him in there in matches where he's losing, because if he does, he loses all momentum. And then it's like you got to keep resetting. When you have to keep resetting, even when the fans get behind you, unless there's a character change or something that really catches all the people, it's hard to really get a character in wrestling now to where people really just gravitate towards. So they may cheer for him and all of that, but it won't be the thing where he becomes that big superstar where he's that guy. Because once a wrestler has this aura of invincibility and then it's broken, it's really hard to get them back to that. It really is. Guys like Ric Flair with his character, like the type of character he play, guys like him can lose a match and come back and talk shit because he's gonna cheat to win anyway and be proud of it. When you're a guy like Powerhouse Hobbs, man, you shouldn't be losing to just especially when you have the momentum and they're trying to push you to be one of the very top guys. But this is wrestling. Like I said, something might not look like it's on the up and up for a guy, and then just like that, bam, a moment happens where, oh shit, he's back. But we'll see what happens with Powerhouse Hobbs. Now, rated FTR versus the Death Riders. So the Learning Tree is backstage without Chris Jericho. He, insults the town and everything, Big Bill. And, he's going back and forth. He spots, Adam Copeland and FTR, and they have their back and forth. So they're supposed to have their match on Collision this weekend, tomorrow night. Well, Saturday night, I'm sorry. And, we'll see what happens from there. Now, the thing about that was it kind of let you know that regardless whether it was disqualification or something or whatever, that you knew, and I'm not against people losing clean, this is what I'm saying, but it kind of lets you know that they were going to win. And the reason being, for them to challenge, and I mean rated FTR winning, because for them to challenge, the Learning Tree, okay, or whatever they call themselves, that's their group, right, the Learning Tree, to Collision, it would look stupid for them to go in there and lose to the Death Riders, right? And then go in there and wrestle when you just lost, then it's like, well, where's the momentum, right? Even if it would have been Death Riders win by disqualification or something, it's the bottom line, they don't need to go in this with a loss. And Adam Copeland's just coming back. So it's like, yeah, they're gonna win. And they got the pin on Wheeler Yuta. Solid match though. Good back and forth, man. I mean, Copeland jumps off the table outside the ring and smashes Moxley through the wall, through the barricaded wall. I mean, it was a solid back and forth, good match. Wheeler Yuta, man, he's solid in the ring too, man, and he's still in that stage of, look at how, for example, and then this shows you, now let me make another point, just saying this. Notice how people wasn't saying, oh man, they're treating Willa Yuta like a bitch, right? Because he's not a WWE, a former WWE guy, but Ricochet is. So you see the comparison. Nobody was saying about how Moxley kept throwing Willa Yuta under the bus and all that. Well, part of that is, now, this is why, let's not talk about real life. I would never let anybody put their hands on me or disrespect me. No type of way. It's entertainment, man. It's wrestling. So, pretty much, what Jon Moxley is trying to teach Willa Yuta is to be ruthless. To be, willing to sacrifice to get what needs to be done, the bigger picture or whatever. So that's all a part of what Moxley's doing with Yuta. Okay, at the end of the day, Yuta got pinned. FTR hit their move, and then basically, Moxley speared him to another planet and shit and got the win. And so we know that the next match for them will be against the Learning Tree. Now, the Death Riders are probably going to get involved in that match or whatever. Now, they may cause them to lose. I don't know. Or, they might beat the Learning Tree and then all of a sudden, they get attacked afterwards. Because, Moxley and Adam Copeland, they have beef. So this is going to be a feud where, you might see a couple of tag matches first, but one way or another, they have beef. And, I'm into this, man. I'm into this. And, Brian Keith, what do you call him? Rated R dumbass or something? Sound definitely like something Chris Jericho would say. And Adam Copeland is, did Jericho teach you that? And so they're just back and forth, the thing is this too, and let me say, it's not about what another company would do. It's thinking, what's the best way to do this? What's the best, right? And not just be typical and fall into a complacent state of this is how we do this. It's always just keep it pushing, keep the mental Rolodex going. So you remember these things you do, what haven't we done, but don't get lazy with it. Anytime when you challenge another person before a match that you have, especially when it's like he's already feuding with, the Death Riders, they're already feuding with them. So it's like I said, it's like, they're going to win. Now, how they're going to win, that's what you don't know. But like I said, I can sit here and say this is what they should have did or what I would have did, but bottom line, that's not what I'm here to do. It was a funny segment. It was a good match, and we'll see what things go from there. Now, I don't think that the next pay-per-view for AEW is the Wrestle Kingdom in Tokyo, Japan, the Tokyo Dome. I don't really think we're going to see any feuds that we see happening on Dynamite and Collision happen there. That's the January 5th pay-per-view, where it's that Forbidden Door thing, but they're going to Japan. Now, March the 7th at Revolution is where I believe you're going to see the feuds in AEW amongst AEW wrestlers take place. So I guess the Wrestle Kingdom thing will be more like just AEW stars versus New Japan stars. So I think that the March 7th Revolution pay-per-view, that's where you're going to see what you're seeing now leading up to that. There's going to be some changes, of course, because it's already January. So, February, you can say it's down there 3 months, two more months, and it's early February now. January now. So this will be something that, to me, is going to get real interesting, And, me, I don't like to look at spoilers. So, when people tell you something's going to happen, I don't like to look at spoilers. People will say things and assume things are going to happen and then be 1,000% wrong. I like to be surprised, man. I think back, man, and there's different things in wrestling that happen. And, there's so many heel turns that it just gets to the point where it doesn't have the same impact anymore. Because I just feel like heel turns are just too often in wrestling. Just way too often. One of the biggest things that I remember happening in wrestling that completely caught me off guard was watching Lex Luger on Monday Night Raw. And all of a sudden, before Nitro went off, this motherfucker shows up at night like, whoa. And we're like, wait, they said this was live. And then people started saying, nah, it had to be taped because Lex was just on. Nah, it's live. He pops up on Nitro. And that was like, oh shit, that was a real old shit moment. This is what I mean about how wrestling has to, when you watch the competition, your shows are not based off of what they're doing, but you have to look at what's typical, what's expected. How can we do this and make the fans like, okay, I like that. This is what the little things that people don't think mean something, even camera angles, the way you say things to people, how you do things, and this is why, like, when I hear people like the Bully Rays and the Dutch Mantels and the Vince Russos and the Eric Bischoffs and everybody that has something to say about what AEW is doing, they're all just on the AEW hate bandwagon. That's all it is. That is all it is. Everything is whatever the WWE do, that's what AEW should do, or TNA should do, or what MLW should do, or whatever. When I said a long time ago, if they had an actual application, like a streaming service or whatever, how are they doing it, where it's just like an all day wrestling thing, and you got, look, when you have a deal with a particular company, and there's things that you might not be able to do because, like, certain things you can't do, but there's other things that you can do. It just helps wrestling, man. I mean, because NWA definitely would be like, hey, man, now we get to watch full episodes of NWA. We get to watch full episodes. Like, TNA has their own app, and they show reruns on Pluto TV. I think some Apple app. They own like certain things, but in terms of like a big mega platform like Max or like Tubi, like Netflix, stuff like that. Disney, like those big, like, they're not on those type of platforms. And see, the thing is like, people in wrestling is wrestling's worst enemy, because they always say things about, but like, who's gonna watch the, like, no, people won't. They're scared to take a chance on something. Inside the NFL has been coming on, okay, for decades. Look at every platform, all these different platforms, all these, Prime TV, Max, and all of these different. They all play NFL, NBA, baseball, they all hockey. So all of these different streaming platforms all have access. WWE is still on Peacock as well. So, like, these things, it would only help wrestling, because now people will be going, oh shit. And look, what's the biggest problem that the NWA and MLW have, and TNA? They're not on a major network. But and it doesn't mean they have to leave the like, TNA can still stay on Access TV. I read that Wrestle Kingdom is no longer. They didn't renew their contract with Access TV, and I remember before they were on Access TV and they left, and then they came back, and they decided to not renew it. And I know that they have their own app as well. But I read something, and I don't know how true this is, but I read that the highest rated shows that TNA ever had on Access TV was like 150,000 views. And basically, this person that did the article said that the numbers are not for free anymore. They make people pay for them. They don't give the numbers up for free. And this person was saying that TNA is the highest rated show on Access TV. So think about it. If the highest rated show on your platform is 150,000, that means you have no shows that get a million views. That means you have a small network. Now, what would you rather be on, Access TV or Spike TV? You see what I'm saying? WWE was once on Spike TV. And for that, it's like, well, Pluto shows reruns. And this is the thing. They have streaming platforms that show old 80s classic wrestling. And no, we're talking, even if you show the classics, have it to where you have different shows. Now, whatever, NWA can have a prime show, you know, and we get to see it. We get to follow it week after week. You know, TNA, MLW, New Japan, all of these, you know, Women of Wrestling, all these different, all of it. It's an all day, just all wrestling. You know, why not? Why not? People always want to shoot something down that's not been done before. But then, you know, when you look at it, like, if you look at the WWE network, well, this is only just WWE content. People don't really care no more. It's like, all right, yeah, we know. This, that, Monday Night Wars, and yeah, we know. You know, and then, you know, you go on like Peacock, and it's all the same thing. Like, all this stuff is there. So you're seeing the same things. But this is my thing, is all of these, it would only help wrestling. Wrestling. Not just individual company, but wrestling as a whole will start to grow. And people will go, oh shit, I saw this dude. It's just like watching college football, man. You know, watching the drafts and who's going where. You're watching and you're like, okay, I didn't, oh, that's where EC3 went. Okay, I remember, oh, this guy, okay, yeah, all right. You know, and you see these things, and it makes you build an interest. And that's what people fail to realize, man. The person providing the platform is the one in control. Their job is to get you linked in. Now, companies that you normally wouldn't watch, now you're watching. And it's like, this is cool. I can watch all of this shit. And when they do these exclusive interviews and behind the scenes things, all these things can be on there. And I'm talking about one of these big mega platforms, not just, you know, a little small platform. And they'll still be on there. But once again, it helps wrestling. God damn, the NFL is on everything. The NBA is on everything, and the NBA is losing viewership like a son of a bitch. But it's the way you see things. People are just so negative that they're quick to say something won't work, and then when they get it, they go, "Oh, this is cool. Okay, I like this." It has to be done right. But you know, yeah, it's just something I thought about when I saw this. I said, "Damn." And since then, TNA's numbers 70,000. That's what they get. That's like their max. They can't pull 150,000 anymore. So it's not about tearing companies down. It's like looking at what's real. Why is this situation like this? What, you know, listen, people, it's a lot that can happen, but people need to be more positive, and they have to want to see things happen. The more you sit back and say something won't happen, you know, it's like, would you tell yourself that you can't accomplish things? And if you do, maybe that's why you can't accomplish the things that you want to, because you tell yourself you can't. But it's you know, it is what it is. Anyway, I like the show, and I'm definitely gonna, you know, I watch AEW as it is. I just think it's a fun time right now, especially, man, because with everything that's going on, I just want to see more than just two companies be on the big platforms, man. It's like wrestling as a whole is just something cool to watch, man, and I just like it would help everything. By the way, let me say, Tommy Dreamer, you know him working with TNA, he said that he's going to make a bold prediction. He said that TNA will sell out a 10,000 seat arena this year, and they're also doing a show that holds 20,000, and he's predicting that they will sell out both shows. Okay. Now, question is this going to be a TNA show that they're depending on NXT stars to be a part of for this to happen? Or is this going to be TNA showing, no, we're here? Because hopefully that's what the case is. Because if your show is successful because of piggybacking off of other wrestlers outside of your company only, you know, that means without them, they don't really care about the talent that's in your company. And one of the things that they better hope is that Jordan Grace re-signs with them, man, because there's a lot of contracts that's up in TNA as of right now, coming to an end very, very soon. And, you know, Speedball, Mike Bailey, Jordan Grace, you know, several different people, Joe Hendry. And I know, factually, WWE is interested in Joe Hendry and Jordan Grace for sure. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, man, we just here for wrestling, man. Like I said, you know, I don't, you know, I'll say like, yeah, I think that fight that, you know, maybe that person should have won this way. or not clean, or this one should have been a clean win, man, they would have had a better feel. But I'm not here to try to rewrite what they should have done. That's not what I'm here for. Like I said, how they do it is how they do it, but certain things just works out better for the wrestler, and also for the fans looking in, watching, because it's like, one thing wrestling has to stop doing is giving wrestlers momentum. They build up momentum, and then you make them lose and say something like, this person has more fans in defeat than they would with a victory. No, you guys have to understand, man. The fans are voicing their opinions. Those loud screams, they're communicating with you. Yeah, we want to see him. Yes, we want to see her. Yes, yes. And, you guys just overlooked them. Bryan Danielson went through that shit, man. I mean, I remember they had a situation. They had Rob Van Dam, Randy Orton. They had all these different wrestlers in the ring that they was talking about putting in certain matches, and every name, the crowd was booing everybody. They booed everybody. They wanted Daniel Bryan. This is when they wanted Bryan Danielson. This is when they wanted him, and they wanted Roman Reigns to be in the spotlight. And the WWE was just, Roman Reigns is just losing the matches that you thought he was going to win. He would lose. And he, so yeah. and now you look at Roman Reigns' title reign. He did all of that. Cody Rhodes finally beats him, just to have a very weak and very forgettable title reign. Like, what are they doing with Cody? Every week he comes out with that gray or that blue suit on, with those little beige shoes, and cut a promo and cry and keep talking about his dad and fulfilling his story and all that. It's like, man, would you please finish this story already? And the thing about it, what people don't understand is, like, in Cody's type of position, man, people, they want more, and they haven't turned on Cody yet. But WWE need to book Cody better, man. Cody's doing nothing. He's doing nothing. You look at when John Cena was the champion. That motherfucker was wrestling like every week. Like every week John Cena was coming out. Cody comes out with this goddamn suit on, just talking. Everything now. Every time I see CM Punk, every time I see Seth Rollins, they're just repeating the same things over and over. And that's the part of wrestling that just lose people when they start turning the channel to watch other things, because it's like, all right, this guy's going to come out here and start talking all this stuff about what his dad said to him and what happened and how he is, and he wanted to win this title because of that. He did it for, like, okay, all right, come on, guys. Repetitiveness. And it's hard, and people don't understand. It's hard. Look, in wrestling, the fact of the matter is there's no off season, and it's just a lot. Which is why I don't believe in writing scripts, because how much shit you going to write and not be repetitive? But it just feels better when the situation is the wrestlers can go out and get into character and not be unprofessional, okay? Not be unprofessional, but work off of the emotion of, like, in that situation. Just like if you're in a movie scene, you're in character, so you're reacting the way that character's supposed to react to what's happening. And this is what it is. So anyway, I'll probably do the same thing for Collision. Give you guys my views on what I saw and what I liked about the show. And I'm not really here to say what I like and don't like. I just want to tell you what I saw on the show and talk about that. Because, one of the things that I'm not here for is to try to tear anybody down. But I will say, like I said, when certain things are happening, and you got to look at, what's going on, where you are. Listen to the fans. Listen to them. You can't give them everything they want. Because there's always going to be people with different opinions. But no, stop overlooking these stars, man. And like I said, I feel like with AEW, like Wardlow could have been that guy. I don't know what happened. And I'm not being funny, but like I'm saying, when I see guys like Adam Cole, and Adam Cole can wrestle, don't get me wrong, but man, Adam Cole doesn't look like a fucking wrestler, man. If you didn't know who he was and saw him, and he said, guess what I do for a living, you'd probably be like, Staples store manager or something like that. He just doesn't look, he looks like a guy that works somewhere behind a desk. It's like he just doesn't look like a fucking wrestler. I mean, Roderick Strong, who isn't the biggest guy in the world, you know, but damn, at least he's toned up and, you know, but these little guys, man, they just come in here, and guys that look like Powerhouse Hobbs and Wardlow, and I mean the same thing, like these Viking Raiders, all these big people, these guys that look like, their character look like they should be able to tear you apart, and they're just in the ring as jobbers, man. It's like they're just there. Like, why are you here? Why'd you hire this person? Use them better. I don't know. So it's like this era is just, I don't know, let's find the weakest looking puniest little pipsqueak we can find and put a belt on him and call this motherfucker a champion. But anyway, yeah, I mean, Adam Cole was good in the ring, but still, man, yeah. I mean, why do you think MJF keeps fucking ripping him every time he does a promo about him being so damn skinny and scrawny in it? Because but it's true. It's like, damn, man, like, feed this motherfucker first. God damn, give him a damn protein bar or something, man. Like, these little tiny guys. But anyway, talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Tell me what y'all thought about the show. That's all I got for you guys right now. Catch you guys on the next video.